All right, so in this lesson, we're going to learn how to draw pretty lips from the three-quarters view. Now, I think this is probably the hardest thing to learn, and I see that this is the part it seems that people struggle with the most. Lips in general, not just lips from three-quarters view, but lips from the front view or any view. So if you feel like you're just not making progress, just take your time with it. Now, the first thing, let's just go over the fundamentals of lips from the three-fourths view. We already know them from the front view and side view. If we take this lip here, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna erase it this way by using the same color. All right, we'll use that line right there. So what happens then is when you're drawing lips, I'll use a color here. Imagine you have this line still here, the same line that you had before when we're drawing from the front view. However, there's this curved line right here in the face. This makes up where the mouth fits into. And it's important to understand it this way. This right here being that center division of the lip. So what happens in three-fourths view is you have where you can see this whole side of the lip here is visible. And so it looks like the front view. But the other lip looks kind of like almost a side view of the lip. You're not really seeing it's folding around in space. I'll show this in DAZ Studio so you can see kind of what it looks like as it moves around. And you kind of already seen the video where we go into that. You have that middle piece here. So this is the middle section of the lip here. Then you have that section. Then you have the other section back here, but it's being foreshortened, and so you only see part of it like this. Now the bottom part of the lip we know comes off that, and you typically have this shape right here. It's kind of like a W shape that happens, but like a sideways W shape, like this. That happens when you have the lips like this in three-quarters view, because you have that two parts of the lip here. This is the center line right here. You have this section you can see, and you have that bubble over there that you can see going off into space. If you keep this right here in mind, you'll find it much easier to draw lips in three-fourths view. You can actually get rid of some of these lines. You can already see that we actually have lips now, and they look fine. They look good. Now another thing that happens is when the mouth is open. Now there's different ways to draw sexy lips from the three-fourths view. Typically, what I do, let's use there we go. Just gonna lightly get rid of some of this. What I like to do when I draw lips from three-fourths view is give them good size upper lip here and a good size bottom lip here. If you get that down, then everything else will kind of fall into place. I kind of just hint at some of this. Sometimes I even hint at a slight open mouth, and there you have it. Now you have a cute mouth from the three-fourths view. Another thing you do is actually draw the mouth open, which looks really good too. Let's go ahead and go back to here. If we draw the mouth open a little bit, all we have to do is imagine how it's wrapping around in space and what that looks like. So what I like to do is I like to draw the mouth open first. So I'm going to kind of draw right about here where the mouth's going to be open. This is a little line. That's how wide I want the mouth to be open. Then I draw that upper part of the lip here. That's that middle section of the lip. And then I know that the lip comes down and connects to this line here. Next is how do I want this bottom part to be represented? I like to kind of draw the lip through like this. Draw that center line coming down here. Imagine that center line. This is the center part of the lip, and then come back into space over here to where the lip connects. I don't connect the full lip like so. And then where this line is coming down here, I like to come down a little bit further and show this line like so. And now we have, I can add a little bit of skin there if you want to. See, it looks better, I think, if you leave that part blank and this part up here blank. And then the teeth, where the teeth show up is either they're not going to show up at all, or if the teeth do show up with this type of mouth, it's going to be like right about here, like this. You're only going to see a little bit of them. Now, if the person is facing like slightly down, you might see some of the lips lower, some of the lower teeth. But typically, this is what you're going to want to do. So for comic books, if you want to draw like sexy mouths and sexy lips, I recommend doing this kind of open mouth. And there are different kind of open mouths you can do. Another type of open mouth you can do is let's go ahead and use black now. you can kind of have that same look here, come down, all this is going to be the same. Pull it here, have just a little bit of a slight open look here, and come like this, and maybe just kind of hint at the lines just a little bit like that. Having this kind of look right here makes for a sexy mouth. You might not want to do the square, and if you don't want to do the square, then what you do is get rid of the square look right here. But we still want to have an open mouth look, so I'm going to have that. We can kind of come down like more like a slight diamond shape like that. Now she has her mouth open just a little bit. It's just slightly parted. And you could run that crack back a little bit further. So you can take this here, and then we can run this back just a little bit further back here, like so. So just think about how the lip and how the mouth looks when you're moving around in 3D space. Here's an example of a mouth that's open. Some of the things to keep in mind, I have this line overlaps here, and then that's for this upper piece. Then you have the line that comes down, and that creates that whole part of this side of the lip. Now this side of the lip is being foreshortened, and so we can actually show that by coming down like that, coming up right here, right? Now the bottom lip, I like to, again, imagine the line is at an angle because it helps you draw it better, because it actually starts over here. If you draw it straight up and down like this, you're going to end up drawing a mouth like that, and it's not going to look right. So remember that full line is coming at an angle. That's where everything is falling into place. So that's where you have your center of the lip there and here. Then I kind of curve it up that way. If you want to draw the teeth, you can. And sometimes I only draw the teeth fully connecting, just like that right there. You can draw some of the bottom teeth here as well, and they kind of disappear into space. All this would be blocked in with dark, or you don't have to make it dark. It's up to you. I like to just start right about here and then leave that line kind of blank and blank over here as well. Maybe draw a couple of lines. And voila, now you have the mouth in 3/4 view. And it's really, in that, having the mouth slightly open like that is that pretty look you want to go for. Now, of course, there might be times where the person's yelling or screaming, or the person is just talking. You want to just have an open mouth like in dialogue. You can do that as well. The one that I like to draw sometimes is that kind of shush mouth. That's what I call it. And so to draw that, you just, you can look at different references to get an idea of what that shush looks like, even yourself in a mirror. But I'll give you a simple example of how you can draw it, and it makes it simple for comic books. And so I first focus on this middle part here that kind of makes this shush sound right here. Now remember, the lips are being overlapped right here, like so. Right, so that's an overlapping lip. So you're drawing it in 3/4 view. Come down. I like to really show that by coming down more like this, and then that way that the whole mouth is shorter. And then sometimes I'll even draw that little piece right here like that. So having this kind of shape right here already starts to kind of form that shush look to it. Remember that line coming like this? Draw center part of the lip here, and then the other center part coming here. And I like to just kind of leave that part blank up there, coming down and around like so. If you have something like this line right here and this line right here sells that idea that they're kind of doing that shush look. And you can just kind of put some black here and just slightly show the teeth from each side. And it's kind of like that, sexy kind of shush look. So that's how I would personally draw that. I like using that mouth because it really does, it looks pretty in different types of scenarios and comic pages. It works great, like when they're just kind of, you can use it for all kinds of facial expressions, like they're just like, oh, whatever, and you can make the eyes kind of fit that kind of whatever look, or you can use it to where she's literally shushing someone. You can use it just because she's trying to look sexy, like that whole new thing on Instagram everywhere. Everyone wants to pucker their lips out for their photographs. Maybe she's like doing that. Maybe she's looking at herself taking a selfie or something in your comic book. Now, another thing you might do in comic books is make your characters talking in mid-sentence. So And what I like to do sometimes is I like to really show their emotions, but sometimes I just want to show them that, hey, the person is talking and they have their kind of mouth open a little bit. An easy way to draw a mouth open is very similar to what we just did a second ago, but you want to make it a little bit more open. So start with that middle line. Again, I always like to start with this part of the lip right here. This is that center part of the lip. And I like to come down, showing the overall shape that I'm drawing here. From there, I'm going to draw the part that's going to be open and that's being foreshortened. Like so. I'm going to actually draw that line coming down a little bit more like this because the lip's being stretched a little bit. Now, because the mouth's being opened here, there's a little piece of skin that usually happens right here. You don't have to represent that. You can actually just have all this kind of be one piece here, which looks cool as well. But that main middle piece, this is the inner line here is what you want to make sure is correct. And it looks kind of like that. So now the person looks like they have their mouth open. Remember, the teeth from 3/4 view are going to look like this when the mouth's open. You're only going to see part of them like that. That's going to be all like black. You might be able to see some of the bottom teeth. And remember, they're coming back in space here. They're wrapping around. You might be able to see some of them like that. That's the teeth right there, the bottom teeth. So you're only going to see, if you see any teeth at all, you're going to see a little bit of these bottom teeth here, like the molars, and then maybe a little bit of these front teeth here. And if I ever draw the bottom teeth, I usually don't in comic books, unless it's like really up close and you really want to show that detail. Everything else can be kind of shaded like that. And now you have her mouth open and she's like in the middle of talking. I like to actually make my bottom lips bigger. This is just a personal preference thing. So I'm going to go ahead and make this lip a little bigger here. Now, right now, I didn't really draw the chin as that mouth opened a little bit, so I could draw the chin down just a little bit further. So I could take this line right here, and I can draw this whole entire chin down just a little bit farther. And the mouth doesn't really open too much, because I only open the mouth a little bit. But remember, when the mouth opens, that bottom jaw that's opening. So those are some of the different ways you can draw lips in 3/4 view. Now, if the person is not quite turned in 3/4 view as much, then you just don't foreshorten the other side of the lips as much. I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's say she wasn't really turned that much right now. And maybe it's over here more like this, and this is where the center was. You would have this part of the lip would be normal. This part of the lip is going to be foreshortened, but not as much. So you'll have that center part here. You're going to still have this part. You're kind of able to see the edge of the lip here like that and come out like so. So it's still foreshortened. This side is still shorter than the other side, but it's not foreshortened as much. And you can still see the actual point here, and you only have a little bit of that kind of shape going on like that. And if you want, you can even kind of just have her lips slightly parted. Another way to do it is just have a very, very slight look like that right there. You can also just have, just a slight open hole there as well. Right, so there it is. That's pretty much everything you need to know, the fundamentals of drawing lips. From that point, it's just a matter of learning different kinds of expressions and facial expressions and things like that. I have the courses where I go more depth into facial expressions, like Discover How to Draw and Paint Comics. There's a whole section on drawing heads and faces from different angles and on different emotions and how to draw different emotions and things like that. Now, as a request, I might later add on to this course a couple free bonus ones with up-to-date drawing of emotions. So go ahead and leave comments in this particular lecture and let me know, hey, I would like to see some bonus material, some bonus lectures in this course showing you your modern techniques, my modern techniques of how I draw emotions and comics and stuff. And a lot of it is really about simplifying it, so keep that in mind. Let's go back to her other mouth just because this one doesn't fit the style of not the style, doesn't fit the angle of the face right now. So we'll leave out with this here. And in fact, let's see here. All right, so and now stay tuned for the exercises and really do these exercises because I'm telling you, the lips, to me at least, are the hardest part to draw. They're my favorite part to draw as well, but especially in 3/4 view, to get them to look right takes a while to get it down. But if you take these basic ideas in mind and what it is you're simplifying, then it makes it that much easier to draw them. And definitely want to check out that video where it shows, in the beginning of the section, the 3D model kind of showing it how everything looks. Pay attention to how the lips change when she's moving left to right from the center to the side view to 3/4 view, how everything changes and why it changes. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you for watching.